From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Good evening, everyone. Well, definitely didn't turn out to be a very active day out there, was it? You know, last night, early this morning, yeah, we did see some of those showers, nothing too terribly heavy. And that pretty much just fizzled out. You look at the radar here throughout the day today, and boy, as we got closer to the noon hour, it all just pretty much dried out. A lot of overcast skies, a little bit of drizzle here and there, but that was really the extent of it for today. But I do expect to continue to see a cool and unsettled weather pattern through Friday for some of us, not everyone. We're starting to kind of transition to a drier pattern here, and that's really by the end of the week and this upcoming weekend. We're looking pretty pleasant and pretty dry and mild here for next week as well. So a little bit to talk about in our deeper dive forecast, but first here is a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Wednesday, October 1st. As we go into tonight, we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 50s for the valley. Now, there could be a stray shower or a sprinkle overnight, but overall, not a lot of rain. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s for some of the higher elevations, and looks like in the low to mid 50s for the coast here tonight. Getting out the door tomorrow morning, mainly dry. I think if there's any showers, we could see a little bit of activity along parts of the coast, and in particular Del Norte, maybe northern parts of Humboldt County. But otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, maybe some drizzle, maybe a light sprinkle or shower out there, but not much rain for tomorrow morning. So we've got an area of low pressure still spinning over the Gulf of Alaska, and it is really fairly stationary. And I got to tell you, this is a pretty well-developed storm system, but of course the bulk of the energy is well up to our north, and we're left with the clouds and a little bit of that rain that we've seen here. So as we go into tonight, okay, maybe a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower, and it looks like the bulk of it would most likely be just north of the valley in northern Shasta County and into parts of Siskiyou County. But again, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, you see here, there's not a lot of rain in the forecast, and maybe even some breaks in the clouds for some of us, and see a little bit of rain down to the southeast, out towards Plumas County, and even near Crescent City as well. By midday, once again, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a passing sprinkle or light shower, nothing significant. Then we go to the afternoon, and there you see Futurecast is picking up on a little bit of activity. I don't expect any thunderstorms, but maybe a stray shower here as we go into Thursday afternoon. Now, it looks like the bulk of any activity would be in the valley, northward into Siskiyou County. Either side of that, the chances don't look to be all that significant for any rainfall, and that will probably continue into tomorrow night. All right, here's your forecast for tomorrow. Again, that slight chance for a few showers, a few breaks in the clouds for some of us, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures around 70, give or take, for the valley, 60s, and even some 70s for the higher elevations, and low to mid 60s for the coast. Your 7-day forecast, I'm keeping that chance for showers in there, at least for Redding, and then maybe some showers by tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, say around the Chico area, Oroville, and then drying out entirely through most of the day on Friday, through the weekend, and most likely next week as well. Your 7-day forecast for the coast, a chance for showers as well as inland. I think a better chance maybe out places like Weaverville. Otherwise dry for your Friday and through the weekend. For Siskiyou County, again, that chance on Thursday, drying out on Friday. Could see a continued chance for some afternoon showers. Yeah, believe it or not, for Modoc County, Lassen and Plumas counties on Friday. Dry for Saturday, Sunday, still calling for a slight chance for some stray showers on Monday, Tuesday, especially for the eastern mountains and in Modoc County. However, the European forecast model does not have any chances for rain. So again, just depends on which forecast model you look at. All right, let's go and take a look at our deeper dive forecast here. And this is really, we're going to get into over the next few days as well. So let's get you right into it. And we're going to start off with the satellite image. And again, we're talking about this swirling area of low pressure. As I mentioned earlier, this is a fairly impressive storm system. It has a lot of characteristics of a typical winter storm around here. You can clearly see it's tightly spun here, nice organization. We've got the speckled clouds and the colder air really getting wrapped up and within the storm. We've got the main trough of low pressure right here. That's helping to kind of usher in some of that cooler air. And then, of course, all of that kind of just shifting eastward. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast here. And again, we saw a little bit earlier, we're just not going to see much. So if we see anything tonight, it'd be probably northern Shasta and into parts of Siskiyou County, maybe a little bit of activity in Plumas and say around Delnor County late tonight, early tomorrow morning. By around midday, I mean, just not seeing much activity. Could we see a stray sprinkle, a light shower across the board? Sure, it's not out of the question, but it doesn't look to be all that significant. Then by the afternoon, looks like we're going to get one last little hurrah, maybe for the valley for a stray shower by late in the day. We're talking late afternoon, early evening. Now what's interesting, you notice eastern mountains fairly dry, the coast really not getting into much activity as well. And then by tomorrow night, look at this. We're actually going to see a disturbance kind of push in from the south, and that's going to bring maybe a chance for some showers by early, say late Thursday night, early Friday morning, say around the valley, down to Chico, maybe Oroville, maybe a little bit of activity out towards Modoc County, but fairly dry out along the coast. Then that's pretty much done with, at least for the valley, Friday morning. But watch the eastern mountains as we go through Friday afternoon. You see how we're seeing some development around midday, Modoc County, Lassen, and Plumas counties. But everyone else, including the coast, is looking dry for the first half of the day on Friday. And then by Friday afternoon into Friday night, we start to see that finally begin to move on out and dry conditions across the board by Friday evening, Friday night, dry on Saturday and Sunday as well. But I do have my eyes because this is moving on out. This particular forecast model all week long so far is continuing to take this trough of low pressure and kind of dig down to the south and eventually develop into an area of low pressure. You can kind of see right here, this area of low pressure. For Monday, maybe bringing a chance for showers for Plumas and Lassen counties. Tuesday, you can see that kind of sticks around, maybe some activity here off towards the eastern mountains, Modoc County. Otherwise, everyone else dry on Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, that'll push off to the east and we're drying things out again. And even though we're going to warm back up, it's going to most likely stay below normal for this time of the year. But drier than normal conditions is what we're expecting. You know, we've been talking about the rain over the last few days, but overall, it really, for most of us, has not amounted to much. Let's talk about the winds, because I'm not necessarily concerned about it in the sense of fire danger, but just want you to be aware that we're going to eventually see some gusty winds, possibly by Friday afternoon, and gusty north winds. As you can see, 5 p.m., really across the board, we are seeing those north winds, 10, 15, even 20 miles per hour. Nothing major, but just be aware that it may be a bit breezy out there. We're kind of more within that near normal category with our temperatures in the long range, and you can see that on the 10-day outlook. The normal high is around 87 for this time of the year, that blue line, so we'll stay below that. And in fact, you can kind of see we're just kind of hovering in the low 80s for the most part through all of next week and even into that next weekend. So very pleasant fall weather. You know, we can say we're confidently staying away from the triple digits most likely for the rest of the year, but can we say that about the 90s? Yeah, maybe, but it's not uncommon for us to see even mid to late December to see some 90s. So really, I don't see any heat waves going through the middle of October, but that doesn't mean we can't see anything late in the month. So we'll see. We'll kind of hold off with the phrase, we're done with the 90s just yet. We'll hold off on that for now. All right, there you can see by tomorrow afternoon, those wave heights are beginning to drop, and especially for your Friday. So there still actually is a small threat advisory for Thursday if you're heading out on a small boat. Here's a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. For your Thursday, temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s, maybe even around 70. So here you go. On Thursday, there's that chance for rain, but Friday you're dry, and then dry through the weekend and dry most likely through next week. Your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the low to mid 60s for the next 7 days. A chance for some showers on Thursday. Don't count on much. Dry on Friday, dry through the weekend, and through next week as well. Up to the north, 71 for Gas Key, 69 degrees for Orleans, and 73 degrees in Hoopa. Let's take a look at your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the low to even some mid 60s. Should be mainly dry, although maybe a chance for showers Thursday. Dry on Friday, and then we're dry through the weekend and through next week as well. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. So it's Thursday, you have a chance. Don't expect much. It looks like we could see some rain on Friday. Remember, we saw that system kind of coming through on Friday, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. Dry Saturday, Sunday, and then as I mentioned, maybe a chance Monday, Tuesday. GFS, American Forecast Model, consistent all week long with that solution. The European forecast model is still not on par with that we just can't get the two to agree at this point. Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, you can see temperatures mainly in the 60s, although cooler towards Viola at 52, 54 degrees in Mineral, and Shingletown about 58. All right, so Susanville, a chance for showers tomorrow. Better chances, I think, on Friday. You're dry through the weekend, and then maybe some isolated activity on Monday and Tuesday. Your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast around 70, give or take. And for Oroville, maybe a chance for showers by Thursday evening, Thursday night, and early Friday morning. That's the same story for Chico as well. And then you can see we're drying out and warming up as we go into the weekend, generally in the low 80s as we go through next week. Take you up to the north, 71 degrees for Redding, as well as Anderson and Palo Cedro. Red Bluff, a high of about 70 degrees. We take a look at that 7-day forecast for Redding. And again, that chance for showers tomorrow. And then by tomorrow night, Friday, we're dry. And then dry through the weekend, dry through next week with highs back up into the low 80s. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have yourselves a great night.
Construction season is well underway in the North State, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.